I watched a documentary on Netflix. I'm not sure if you guys have caught it yet. It's called The Remarkable Life of Ibelin, which is about this World of Warcraft player, but basically this person who was born with some sort of autoimmune disorder, something like ALS, I think, where he was dying gradually. And it just seems really ridiculous because if you think about it, how is it fair? A person was just born to eventually die, and in the worst way possible. He was basically going through entropy. His muscles were breaking down. He was just gradually withering away. And in a way, it's also personal because I have a relative. I had a relative, who unfortunately passed away, but he was a very, very confident and very naughty cousin. And every time when we had in my culture Chinese New Year, we'll play with fireworks. And one time he was just too overly excited, ran out by himself, grabbed one of the fireworks, lit it, shot straight into his face, and totally disfigured him. He was blinded in one eye, and he had to wear an eye patch, but also there was a lot of scars everywhere. And you see that person just transform from this very confident, naughty kid to just this person who became really, really bitter. And unfortunately, over time, he went down a really dark path. He faced addiction as well. He didn't actually do anything with his life, and eventually he overdosed, and he's passed away now. And when you think about things like that, as we mentioned earlier in the beginning of our discussion, things happen that you can't predict. For him, the same thing. Also, in the case of the documentary, where this person was born with this disease, this disorder. But what he decided to do instead was to play World of Warcraft, which you could say is just him ignoring it. But he decided to help people on the World of Warcraft, as in he became a sort of quasi therapist person that just tried to give advice to people. And he made a lot of his limited life out of his limited life in the sense that he actually helped a lot of people that when he passed away, a lot of these online, the actual players, they came forward and they said this was a very incredible person. And again, the way I see the will to power is that, life throws a lot at you. We all go through different sort of crises. We also face the fact that life might be meaningless, but we can choose two paths. We can choose a path where we just try to avoid it, numb it, or sort of, hide from it or drown ourselves in something, as I mentioned earlier. But usually that's a path that doesn't actually, resolve the situation practically. Or you could actually try to do your best with what you have, with your fate, and actually make something out of it. And perhaps maybe it's a bit romantic, but perhaps certain things happen for a reason. If we know how to harness those things, they could end up being the ingredients for our greatest growth, for our greatest work, or something that really kind of signals our actual true calling. And I think that's something that we really should think about, and that everybody should think about. And so, yeah, life is not easy for anybody really. And I think the more we really spend time to think about what to do with that fact, and the better, and to really take some deliberacy in that sense as well.